Alright, so I need to talk to you about something that's going to hit a lot of senior Australians right in the wallet, and most people haven't even heard about it yet. The federal government has confirmed it's cutting the higher private health insurance rebate that seniors over 65 have been getting. And to be clear about what that actually means, your private health insurance premium could go up by hundreds of dollars a year. Not because your insurer decided to charge you more. Because the government decided to take away part of the support you were getting. So today I want to break down exactly what changed, why they did it, and what it could cost you specifically if you're on a private health policy. Okay, so let's go back to basics for a second, because not everyone understands how this rebate worked in the first place. For years now, the government has given a higher private health insurance rebate to people over 65 compared to people under 65. The idea was simple: older Australians use the health system more, premiums tend to be a bigger burden on a fixed income, so the government topped up a bit more of the cost for seniors specifically. It was meant to keep private health insurance affordable enough that seniors would stick with it rather than drop it, and put all the pressure back on the public hospital system. That extra support for over 65s is now being wound back. Going forward, seniors will be moved to the same rebate level as people under 65. So the gap that used to exist in your favor is essentially gone. Now here's the part that I think is actually the most important to understand, because this isn't just a random cut for no reason. The health minister has been pretty upfront that this decision is being made to free up funding for aged care. Specifically, the money saved by reducing this rebate is being redirected into the new Support at Home program, which covers things like personal care, showering, dressing, continence support, for older Australians who need help at home. The government's argument is basically this: a higher health insurance rebate for wealthier seniors who can already afford private cover is harder to justify in 2026, when there are older Australians who can't get basic personal care support at home because the system doesn't fully fund it. So they are taking from one program that mainly benefits seniors who already have private insurance and putting it into a program that helps seniors who need everyday care. Whether you agree with that trade-off or not, that's the actual reasoning being given. It's not a hidden cut buried in fine print, it's deliberate policy. So who actually feels this? Honestly, it's going to depend a lot on your personal situation. If you're a senior with private health insurance and you've been benefiting from that higher rebate, you're going to see your premium go up. We are talking potentially hundreds of dollars more per year on the same policy, simply because the government support behind it has been reduced. Now if you're a pensioner, or a part pensioner with private health cover, this is where it really stings. A lot of seniors hold onto private health insurance specifically because they don't want to be stuck on long public hospital waiting lists, especially for things like joint replacements or cataract surgery. If your premium jumps and your budget is already tight on a pension, you might be forced into a difficult choice: downgrade your cover, increase your excess, or drop private health altogether. And that's actually one of the concerns being raised by groups representing seniors. If enough older Australians drop their private cover because it's become unaffordable, that could push more people back onto the public system, which creates a whole different set of pressure points. Now I do want to be fair here and show you the other side, because there is a genuine benefit coming out of this trade-off. The government has committed to fully funding personal care services under the new Support at Home program from later this year. That means things like showering assistance, dressing help, and continence care will no longer come with out-of-pocket co-contributions for people who need them. If you've got a parent, a spouse, or you yourself rely on in-home aged care support, this is actually a meaningful change. Those basic care services have been described by advocacy groups as essential, not optional extras, and getting them fully funded removes a real financial barrier for a lot of families. There's also more money going into actual aged care beds, with a goal of thousands of new beds being added each year, because right now a lot of aged care facilities are running close to full capacity and turning people away. So it's genuinely a mixed picture. One group of seniors, those relying on private health insurance, are likely worse off. Another group, those needing home care support, are likely better off. The government is essentially moving money from one part of the senior community to another. All right, let's get practical. If you currently hold private health insurance and you're over 65, here's what I'd suggest doing in the coming months. First, when your renewal notice comes through, actually read it properly. Don't just let the direct debit happen automatically. Check exactly how much your premium has increased and ask your fund directly whether that increase is connected to the rebate change. Second, shop around. Private health funds are competitive, and there are often comparable policies at a lower price point if you're willing to switch. Just be careful about waiting periods if you do change funds. Make sure you're not restarting a waiting period for something you actually need covered. Third, if cost becomes a genuine issue, have an honest conversation with your fund about adjusting your level of cover rather than dropping it altogether. Sometimes a slightly reduced extras package, or a higher excess on hospital cover, can bring the premium back down to something manageable without losing cover completely. And fourth, if you or a family member are relying more on home care than on private hospital cover, it's worth looking into how the support at home changes might actually benefit you, because that side of this story doesn't get nearly as much attention. Look, I know cuts like this don't feel great when you're the one absorbing the cost. But I think it's important you actually understand why it's happening, not just that it's happening, so you can make an informed decision about your own cover rather than just reacting to a bigger bill. If this video helped clarify what's actually going on, give it a like and share it with someone you know who's on a private health policy and might not have heard about this yet. Subscribe to Senior Daily Report so you stay ahead of changes like this before they show up as a surprise on your next bill. And if your premium has already gone up because of this, let me know in the comments. I'd like to get a sense of how big these increases actually are once they start landing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.